Everybody's doing well. Welcome to another Wire for Crappie Live. We'll give everybody a few minutes to get on here. Get everybody caught up. Y'all want to see my contraption that I have going on tonight to put my phone on. It's quite enthusing. I'm going to have to show you guys before the end of the show what I've rigged up to hold my phone. Because I don't know where my phone clip is to hold my phone. So right now we have a bunch of jig head boxes stacked up on top of a step stool that you guys are sitting on. So if you fall off tonight and you land in the floor of the boat, just know I'll pick you back up, okay? I'm just going to try to move very slowly so that I don't knock you guys off. I hope you guys are doing well this Wednesday evening. I appreciate you guys for being on with me tonight. We're about 15 minutes later than our normal time, but I hope you guys stuck around and are going to enjoy the show because we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Some good stuff to talk about, some really cool stuff. We got some stuff to add to the wall back here. All right, so we got a few things to add to the wall back there tonight. I've kind of been slacking on that. I haven't really got anything added to the wall here in the last little bit. But we got some stuff to add tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. Get some more mementos, if you will, back here on the wall. We'll go over that here in a little bit. The sound isn't good. Audio bad, echoey. Okay, hang on a second. All right, that better? Y'all hear me better now? Bear with me, guys. All right, somebody talk to me. That be better? No. All right. Now, what's it? All right, any better now, guys? Can you guys hear me better now? Hopefully. Or is it still bad? All right, everybody hear me good? Try this again. Hopefully I'm not jumbled up or echoey. Good, better, good. Hopefully we don't get echoey. I'm going to try not to yell. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. And we're just going to keep it at a nice, even keel tonight. All right. So, hello again, in case you didn't hear my hello earlier. Audio is perfect. Good deal, good deal. Thank y'all very much for letting me know the audio was jarbled and garbage. I appreciate that. So, welcome to another Wired Live. I appreciate you guys for being here. Hope you guys had a great week since last week. And I am looking forward to talking about some crappie fishing tonight. Okay, we got some cool stuff to add to the wall back here behind us because we've had some we've been able to grab a few more Mentos for the wall, if you will, put back there on the wall tonight. And we're going to talk about a couple different things. First and foremost, we're going to talk about a few tournaments that we've had lately. So we had East Tennessee Crappie Club tournament this past weekend. We also had the Watts Bar tournament, which I don't think we really discussed. The Watts Bar Big Fish Classic or the Big Crappie Bash on Watts Bar. We really didn't discuss that too much. So we'll talk about those couple tournaments, talk about fishing here in East Tennessee and what's going on and how it's going. And then we're going to get into some questions. If you guys have any questions during the show at all, let me know, and I will make sure that you get those answered. Tom A. from Pennsylvania, sound good. Looking forward to getting my planer boards Friday. Yeah, buddy, I got those sent out to you. I appreciate the order.
I got a comment about the planer boards. So real quick, if you haven't seen or did not see the planer boards last week, I'll go ahead and show you guys the planer boards. I got questioned about them by two different people. So I had two different people that were like, hey, who's making those for you? Well, nobody's making them for me. I'm making them. So if you guys have not seen the Wired for Crappie planer board, there it is right there. Okay. You got a starboard side and you got a port side. All right, so those are made by me, guys. Those are not bought from another company and sold to you guys. These are made by Wired for Crappie. These are made by me right here in this shop. And if you don't believe me, right here's where I'm doing it. Okay, so there's my jig, and there's my paint, and there's everything, and here's my stickers right here. Okay, so those are made by me. All right, so if you order planer boards and they don't go out at that very moment that you order them, just know I'm making them. I've got a lot of orders, okay? So if you're looking for planer boards or you want a set of planer boards, wiredforcrappie.com, www.wiredforcrappie.com is where you can pick up those planer boards, okay? So just know, Tom, thank you very much for the order, buddy. I appreciate it. I got those out to you. I can't wait for you to use them. Please send me some pictures when you catch fish with them, okay? Let me know how you like them, and I appreciate your order. So again, those are made right here in the Wired shop, right here in the good old U.S. of A. Okay, so I'm not sourcing those out to anybody. Those are made by me. So that's the board that I use. It's a specific board that I've used for years and years and years. I love it, and they're made right here by me. Okay, guys. All right, let's see who else on tonight. Heidi Clark, what's up, Heidi? How are you? Ashley Coffee, good evening, good evening. Laura, my beautiful wife, how are you? I know how you are. I just left you. I feel like I hadn't seen you in forever, babe. David from Northport, Alabama, what's going on? Max Carney, hello, hello. Hello, Matt. I'm wondering where you got your small handrails to mount your bow deucer brackets. Actually, I got mine off Amazon. Okay, so I got mine off Amazon. You can get them. That's a 9-inch handrail. It's a 9-inch stainless handrail, and mine came off Amazon. But you can buy them a lot of different places. George Hamby, what's going on? Charles Jean, hello, hello. Eric Reeder, hello. Brenham, hope I said that right. Matt from West Virginia, what's going on? Joel Nash, the Joel Nash, is in the house, guys. Paul Gwynn, what's going on, Paul? Scott from Central Illinois, hello, hello. Danny Phillips will be getting me some. I appreciate you, Danny. Thank you very much, buddy. Paul Barrett, thanks for the info last week about pulling crankbaits. First time pulling cranks, and we caught some good fish. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, buddy. I am absolutely glad to hear that, Paul. Dale Holla guy here. What's going on, man? Did you fish in the Dale Holla Invitational they had last year down there? Jimmy Pratt, hello, hello. Kenny Evans, hello, hello. George, I done said hello to you, but I'll say hello again. All right, so let's talk about a couple different things. Let's talk about, first and foremost, the most recent tournament was the East Tennessee Crappie Club Classic on Chickamauga Lake. So fishing the Classic on Chickamauga this past Saturday. Great event, great people, as always. Tough competition. Was able to pull out a win on that one, guys. So really, really, really tough competition. Absolutely great anglers in that club, and always an honor to pull out a win. So want to talk a little bit about kind of how we caught our fish, and actually got to fish a tournament with Josh Sanders. So Josh Sanders and I got to fish together. He called and said his partner wasn't going to be able to make it. His partner's on here tonight, so I appreciate him for not being able to make it. So he called me, and he's like, hey, man, do you have a partner? Of course, he knew I didn't, because I haven't had a partner all year. But I said, no. I said, I don't. And he said, well, do you want to fish together? And I said, yeah, sure. Why not? I'll fish with you. I said, I'm taking my boat, though. And he said, okay. So we loaded up in the boat. We went. So we did a couple different things, actually. So we didn't really stick to one technique. I didn't want to get stuck on one technique, guys. I wanted to kind of move around a little bit, do some different stuff. So, and I told him, I said, it's going to be a long ride and it's going to be a busy ride. We're going to move around a lot. So we're going to fish a lot of different stuff. We're going to be wore out when we get done, right? So we started on docks. We got a limit. All right. So 7 fish limit, pulled those off docks. We had what I felt like maybe 2 or 3 good fish, but we had a 7 fish limit. So then we moved over and started fishing a couple brush piles. Went to brush, picked up another couple good fish. So caught a lot of fish on brush, but picked up another, probably 2 that we weighed in. So at that point, we had what I felt like we had 5 tournament fish, okay, that we needed out of the 7. And then we went to stumps. We went to natural type structure, and we just pounded it all day long. I mean, just moved from spot to spot to spot. And a lot of areas on that lake, guys, a lot of areas on Chickamauga have that natural structure that's just littered on the bottom. I mean, it's just everywhere. And I'm not talking about big, huge trees, guys. I'm talking about little bitty, 1 foot, 2 foot, nothing coming off the bottom. Just little structures that probably only hold 1 fish. If you're lucky, it holds 2. Okay. And we just moved and moved and moved and moved and moved and moved all day long. I mean, it was just, there was one point where Josh looked at me and said, man, let's go fish some brush piles. And I'm like, nope, we're going to put our head to the grindstone. We're going to stay right here. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. At that point, we caught another 2 really good tournament fish. We caught our biggest fish on stumps, on natural structure. And I say stumps, they probably weren't really stumps. They were more like tree trunks, if you will, not necessarily stumps. But so we caught our next couple good fish on that. And then we just started culling. Okay. So we started culling. We made some culls. We culled 3, 4 different fish, just kind of culled around, moved up, and ended up winning the tournament by about 4 or 5 100ths or something like that. But a win is a win, and we were blessed and honored to be able to win against such stiff competition for sure. So fished a purple and chartreuse stump bug all day. Okay. That is the bait that I threw right there. Okay. Purple and chartreuse stump bug, threw that all day long with the beaver tail cut out. Okay. No beaver tail. So there's beaver tail. This one had no beaver tail. This is the exact bait that I threw in the tournament. Okay. Purple and chartreuse was my color all day. Stuck with that all day. Did change around a little bit to try to see if I could get them to react a little more to different colors. Tried white and chartreuse, tried grasshopper, tried black and chartreuse. It seemed like the purple and chartreuse was the one that they would react to the most, which wasn't much, but it was a little better than the other baits, and I just stuck with it. So if you find a color that's working, stick with it. Don't just bounce around for, willy-nilly for no reason. But I even tried slick neon and some other colors. I even tried lemon lime. I mean, I even threw lemon lime a couple times and caught a few fish on lemon lime, but they just weren't reacting to it like they were to purple and chartreuse. So, staple, went back to it, stuck with it, and had a great day. So, it was a tough tournament. It was a grind, but we managed to pull it out, like I said, and we were blessed and honored to win against, like I said, such great fishermen. So, let's see what else. Oh, I'll tell myself for a minute. I'm gonna tell myself right here. I'm not gonna do this very often, okay? I'm not gonna do this very often. So, as a matter of fact, where's my scale? All right. So, that's full of water too. Gosh, my boat is still soaked. It rained to beat the band Saturday, by the way. Saturday afternoon, it absolutely flooded, and my boat is absolutely still soaked. So, that being said, I need to get some of this stuff out of here. All right. So, let me turn my scale on. All right. So, at one point during the day, Josh says, "Hey, what's our smallest fish?" And I said, "Oh, it's like 0.92 or something around in there, 0.9 something." Well, right here, if you look, we had a 0.85. Well, the funny thing about that is I actually culled a fish. That weighed, I'm sorry, 0.94. smallest fish other than the 0.85. Well, he asked me at one point, I just called a fish and I just thrown it back. And he said, "What'd the one you threw back weigh?" I said it weighed 0.92. He said, "So what do we need to call up?" And I said, "We need at least 0.94. And he said, "Okay." So my scale weighs a little light because in the tournament we actually weighed, it says 701, but we actually weighed 739 in the tournament. My scale, my Rapala weighs a little light. And I like that because I'd rather it weigh light than heavy. But he says, "Hey, Matt." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'm looking at the scale here. Our number 7 fish shows 0.85. And I went, And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, And he goes, "Yeah, I'm looking at it." And I said, "Oh, no." And he said, "What?" And I said, "I threw back the wrong fish." And he goes, "You did what?" And I said, "I didn't see a 0.85 on there. Whoops. I didn't realize I did that." I was like, "That's probably going to come back to bite us." And he's like, "Yeah, that was dumb." I said, "We got to catch another one to cull that one." And he said, "Okay." So we tried to catch one to cull that one. And that was at like 2-ish, 2:30. And we didn't catch one to cull that one. So we had to take that one in. I'm driving back thinking in my head, I'm like, "Oh, that's going to come back and bite us. Oh, God, that's going to come back and bite us." But it didn't. So, it almost did. It did not quite bite us, so we got lucky. Let's see. Brent Outdoors, not an ACC fan anymore. Tip broke on the 8-foot SG casting a 1/4 ounce jig the other day. Reached out to ACC and didn't hear back from them. Well, how'd you reach out to them, Brent? How did you reach out to ACC? Because I've never heard of them not reaching back out to somebody. Now, they get a lot of emails, and it may take them a day or two, but when and who did you reach out to? Charles, have you ever used Goldfish for crappie fishing? I personally have not. Obviously, I've used live bait, okay, and I have used minnows for years. All right, crappie minnows, or toughies, if you will. All right, so, but I've never used Goldfish, and I know some people use gold minnows. There's also dye that you can put in your minnows that color your minnows, like chartreuse or orange or different colors. And I hadn't done any of that. So uh, I fished, like I said, with live bait for years, and then I started getting into plastics and artificials, and I just never have really went back to live bait. I use live bait some in the summer, especially when I take my boys. Although my boys now are 15 and 8, I got little Wired that's coming up, okay, but he can't hold a fishing rod yet. Well, he can hold one, but he can't. He can't go out there in the boat and catch fish yet, but he's close. All right, he's almost 2, and when he gets 2, he's getting in a boat. But nonetheless, um, I have not used goldfish, and I typically use more artificial baits than I do live bait anymore, especially with a bonehead jig. I mean, you can take a bonehead tackle jig, and I bet you that jig right there probably caught 30 fish probably in the tournament. That specific jig, if not more. And I mean, you can see it's chewed up. I mean, it's chewed to pieces, but it's still on the jig. It's still in good shape. I'd put that on a rod and we can go catch more fish with it. I mean, it's to me, I like that because I don't have to spend time rebaiting. But that's just me. Eddie Toon, howdy, howdy. How are you? Brent Outdoors, ACC customer service link on website. Well, I know they get a ton of email traffic through there, okay? A ton. So, Brent, give them time. They'll get back in touch with you. And look, if you want to reach out to me, I'll even put in a word for you, okay? So, if you want to hit me up, then I'll get you. I'll get you in touch with the right people, okay, buddy? Just shoot me a message on Facebook, Brent. Matt Zenas or Wired for Crappie on Facebook. Shoot me a Facebook message if you have it, and shoot me your info, and I'll get with them. I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but I kind of can give them a call or swing by their place pretty easy because it's about 5 minutes down the road from me. So if you if you want to shoot me your info, I'll make sure you get in touch with the right people, buddy. All right, no slack. ACC is a good rod, but in my opinion, it's not the best. I'll take the Kevin Rogers rod any day over most rods. ACC does float, and it has an incredible backbone. You know, ACC is a great rod, okay? Now, look, it's just like any other rod. You're going to break rods. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, it doesn't take much in a rod blank to create a weak spot. You know, you nick it, anything can nick. I have actually nicked, like I've literally gotten hung on a dock before. Okay, this is probably well, let me go back. I've probably broke half a dozen rods in my entire span of crappie fishing in 12 years. I've probably broke half a dozen, if that, maybe. But I remember one of those very vividly. So it wasn't an ACC, it was a B&M. Okay, it was a sharpshooter, and I was shooting a dock. I got hung on the dock, and I went to pull my jig off. And when I pulled my jig off, I was twitching it like this. And when I pulled it off, the jig literally shot off the board it was hung on, came back. I did like this because it was coming towards me. I did like that, and I heard it hit the rod. I heard the jig head hit the rod. And I went, oh, I'll never do that again. I just blocked my jig with my rod. Went to shoot it again, reeled it up, went to shoot it again, bent the rod over, snap, right there where that jig hit. It does not take much to create a weak spot in one of those rod blanks enough to where it breaks, okay? It's going to happen. Guys, if you think you're going to buy a rod and it's never going to break, that's not true. You're going to have rods break. That's just part of fishing, especially if you have kids. Let me tell you. My kids broke more of my rods than I broke my rods. But anyway, that's why I buy them different rods than mine. They don't use mine. Well, I take that back. They do now, but when they were younger, they didn't use my rods. You know what I'm saying? All right. So with that being said, it's going to happen. You know, as far as the best rod on the market, I'm not going to sit here and say anybody's rod's the best rod on the market. Everybody has a different way that they fish. Everybody has a different feel and a different, different needs in a rod or what they like or dislike in a rod. Find the rod that works best for you. My rod that works best for me is an ACC crappie stick. I mean, I've had B&Ms. I've tried Ozarks. I've tried Kevin Rogers. I've tried H&H. I've tried most of the crappie rods on the market. I have tried. Okay. I do like an ACC. I like the backbone. I like the rod, but there's, again, the way you fish, the method you fish. If you're a long pole fisherman, there's a lot of good long rods out there. There really is. If you're a caster and a dock shooter like I am, there's not all that much out there for you. I mean, the ACC, if you're a caster or a dock shooter, or you like anything from an 8 foot down, ACC is where it's at. I'm sorry. Trolling, as far as a trolling rod, you can't beat an ACC. If you're going to troll, you cannot beat an ACC, in my opinion. But there's a lot of evening. What's going on? Wait to try my new setup. Yeah, I can't wait for you to get it back, Jackie. I'm excited for you. Scott Bunch, what's going on, Scott? That is the Scott Bunch in the house, guys. What's up, guys? Sore lip 'em all. That's that crappie magnet lingo. The sore lip 'em all. Look, I got some right back here, Scott. We got a few right back here. Now, we got the real deal over here, a little bit stocked up, a little heavier right over here. But hey, you guys, Scott Bunch, if you guys don't know Scott is a great, awesome crappie fisherman. Is one of the best crappie fishermen in the country. So we're actually going to get an opportunity to work on Scott's new rig, because Scott got a new rig. I won't tell you all the secrets about Scott's new rig, but Scott got him a new rig, and I'm excited to see it. Actually, he and I were both talking to this guy about this rig, and then I said, Scott probably needs it worse than I do, so we'll let Scott go with it, and I can't wait to see it. So hope you're doing well, Scott. Have you ever tried slick baits for crappie? No, I have not. I have not tried them. Jackie Jordan, yeah, broke tip on 6.6 shooting a dock, $10. $10 to fix it? Yep. No doubt. The good thing about breaking tips is a lot of these rod companies now sell tips. So you can just buy a tip and you don't have to buy a whole new rod. I've only broke one ACC, and it was operator error. My only knock with ACC is the weight, and for some strange reason, I shy away from it due to everyone using it. I kind of like being the odd one. There you go. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with being the odd man out. I like being the odd man out. I've had a few ACC rods break. I do like the eyes are stainless. I had the new Jenko shooter, and the ceramic broke on the top eye, and it cost me several shots and cut lines. Yeah, I mean, it's every rod, guys. I mean, it's not just one. Just a small report. I fished upper end of Douglas yesterday evening and surprisingly got on finicky spawning fish. Ended up with 10 keepers, all females, 2 laid out, and 8 full of eggs. That's a good report. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate that, buddy. Rick Martin, what do you do when you are catching a lot of crappie casting to a brush pile on a clear water lake and your jig gets hung in the brush? Don't want to turn the fish off. So, good question. It depends. Okay. Sometimes I may, if I'm tournament fishing, I may lay that rod down, pick up another rod, and see if I can't catch a few more. If I'm fishing, if I have a guide trip or something and I'm out there with a client, we'll just pull it out. Most of the time, Rick, on a clear water lake, I mean, if you don't sit there and just jerk, trying to get it off, if you'll just reel down on it, put constant pressure and just pull straight back, holding into your reel so the bail doesn't, or the bezel doesn't spin. Just pull, pop. A lot of times you won't affect those fish that much. Sometimes you will. If you're on a real flimsy limb or something, you will. But most of the time, you won't really affect those fish a whole lot. You can keep catching fish. But that is a tricky one. I mean, you got to get your bait unhung or break it off. Don't just cut your line, because that leaves line in the water, and then you end up with a problem. But or somebody ends up with a problem. That's how you get, or guys get fishing line in their prop. But I always try to break it off or just pull it out. A lot of times, now I use braid most of the time. So with braided line, you can generally straighten the hook out if you just constant even pressure and just pull back. A lot of times you can straighten that hook or it'll pull off, and it really doesn't affect them a whole lot. Okay, but if I'm fishing a tournament and I know there's another 2 or 3 good fish down there, I don't care to just let line out of that rod or open the bail up, leave the bail open, and just set the rod down in front of the boat and cast around it. I don't mind to do that either. Okay. Scott Bunch, are you about ready to rig another boat? I am ready and raring. You call me, tell me when, and I'm ready, buddy. Ashley, Scott Bunch, are you selling your Blue Ranger? Hey, Ashley, back up. Easy. We're going to get in a bidding war. All right? Take it easy now. There's too many people want one of them. There's too many people want one of them boats, buddy. After switching some stuff out. Yeah, there you go. You never know. I'm telling you guys, a Ranger 690, cat's meow for crappie fishing. Absolutely. I love my 690. I can't. Scott's got a 690. I got a 690. There's several guys in the club have 690s. I love them. I absolutely love them. Of course, I love it even more now that I got the beast on the back, right? So the big old Merc 150 right there. All right. That thing, again, update on that motor. That thing is so smooth, so quiet, and the fuel mileage is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So let me see. All right. So Chickamauga ran all over the friggin' place. We put in at Hiawassee, Highway 58, ran all the way down to Possum Creek on Chick, all the way to the very, 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 very back of Possum Creek, turned around, went all the way back up to 58, and ran all around amongst everything in between. It wasn't just straight down and back, ran around. Started out with 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Got run with just under a half tank. So barely used, well, about a quarter of a tank of fuel to run all that. All right. Absolutely incredible on fuel mileage. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely love that motor. That has changed this boat so much because now I can fish an entire lake and not just a section of lake. So with my old motor, I used to have to go pre-fish all the time because I couldn't run. You know, the big fish weren't in a certain area of a lake. I couldn't run to the other area of the lake to try and find those bigger fish. Now I can run anywhere on that lake and go find that bigger age class of fish. It's changed the way I fish. It really has, especially tournament fishing. It has changed the way I tournament fish. So anyway, ACC puts money back to the anglers in the best, I mean best tournament. Yes, that is correct. So let's talk about that tournament because for those of you that saw, you might have seen the video, but we won an hour in the ACC Crappie Cove Big Crappie Bash. I was boat number 3, won that $1,250. You get a paint stick when you show up that morning. So I wrote 1250 on there, obviously, for my wall back here because it's going to go right back there with that one. Where's it at? That one right there from last year where we won $1,250. But this one's going to go right back there underneath it. Last year I was boat number 11. This year I was boat number 3, won $1,250 there. And again, coincidence, that ACC jig head, white ACC jig head with that purple and chartreuse stump bug is what caught that winning fish. And that is the actual stump bug that I caught it with. You can see it's torn right there. You guys can see got a little tear in her, but she's still rocking and rolling. She's still good. So anyway, those are the mementos. We're going to add these to the wall back here in just a little bit. A couple winning baits and a winning paint stick that we're going to add to our wall back there, which is going to be really cool. I got another winning bait right back. Where's it at? Right there. So all the winning baits, like I told you guys, a year ago or 6 months ago or whatever, we're going to start putting them on the wall because what else are we going to do with them, right? So we'll put it on the wall, have kind of a memento wall, if you will, back there, some of the different stuff. So it's really cool. I'm enjoying that. I'm going to put those back there here after the show probably. Danny Phillips, will you have both the Garmin and Lowrance, and why? Danny, you're going to have to be a little more specific. So are we talking live sonar, or are we talking just units in general? I mean, what are we talking here? So if we're talking units in general, I run Lowrance's on my dash, okay? And I run Garmin up front. And excuse my boat because it is an absolute mess right now because it rained in the tournament, like I said. And whoops, it rained in the tournament, like I said, and we're drying the boat out. So I've got literally everything scattered. Look at this. It's ridiculous. I got fans running in the compartments trying to dry them out. I got baits up there. It's still not dry. So anyway, we're trying to dry the boat out. But are we talking just units in general, buddy, or are we talking live sonar? I'll let you answer me on that one. Oh, okay. Yes, live. All right. So I will not have Lowrance. Sorry. I'm a Lowrance guy right here at the dash. My HDS Gen 1s, if you will. Okay. Because I love them so much. I got an HDS Live, or I'm sorry, an HDS Gen 1 10, and I've got an HDS Gen 1 8 that I'm running with the Gen 1 brain box and the LSS 2 transducer through an LSS 1 box. Now, I absolutely love this setup. For those of you that have fished with me that are on here tonight, you guys can confirm most everybody gets in my boat and looks at my pictures and goes, my gosh, I don't have pictures like that. Why don't I have pictures like that? And I go, well, you don't have Generation 1 Lowrance HDSs that, they never should have changed to begin with. But for some reason, Lowrance got cocky and wanted to do bigger and better. And I'm telling you right now, I can see on a gnat's butt with these things underwater. Okay. So, it's not always about buying the most expensive unit. It's about also finding the unit that works best for you. So, that's what I tell everybody when they come in my shop. Everybody's going to see units a little different. Okay. Some guys, they say I'm a Lowrance guy. Some guys, they say I'm a Humminbird guy. Some guys say I'm a Garmin guy. Everybody's eye sees a unit differently because we have individuals out there that are colorblind, don't even know they're colorblind. We have individuals out there that some see better than others, some see different shades than others. Just like my eye, I may say my boat is candy apple red, and you may say, well, no, it's more maroon. It just, your eye sees it different than my eye does, right? And with that being said, don't just say, well, I'm going to be a Lowrance guy because I heard that's the best. Well, yeah, maybe it is for me or for Scott or for, Joel or for, Art Defo. It may be for that specific angler, but it may not be for you. Okay. So experiment with it a little bit, guys. Go up to, some of your Bass Pro shops or your boat electronics stores and look at some of the demo modes and just kind of look at which ones you see better. Okay. Because those demo modes, you're going to be able to see the contours and you're going to be able to see the shadows and you're going to be able to see those different things on those units that is going to tell you which one your eye sees better. And there's going to be one, I assure you, that you're going to look at and you're going to go, man, that just looks better. That just looks clearer to me. And you're going to be like, I'll just get that. So, with that being said, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a Garmin or I'm a Lowrance or I'm a Humminbird guy. But as far as the live is concerned, okay, Garmin's got the live still cornered. All right. Lowrance has a good live unit, but does not have the same definition that Garmin does, in my opinion. And Humminbird definitely doesn't have the Garmin Humminbird definitely doesn't have the definition that Garmin does. Okay. Garmin's got it cornered. But Lowrance is in second, and then Humminbird trailing along by the end of it. All right. So hate to say it that way, but that's the way I've seen it. Now, with that being said, I've installed Lowrances, and I've installed Humminbirds. All three of them are about the same as far as install. So if you're not going to do it yourself, the install cost is going to be about the same. There's not going to be a whole lot of difference between install costs, all right, because they're all about the same. But the definition, the clarity, and being able, just the overall usability of the units, Garmin, Lowrance, Humminbird when it comes to live. That's my order of what I would say is the best to the worst. Okay. And they're not any of them are bad. Don't get me wrong. Not any of them are the worst. They do their job and they do what they're supposed to do. It's just your definition, your clarity, your usability, your user friendliness. Just Garmin has it right now. Okay. In my opinion. Arrigo, what's going on? MVPST J115. That's a mouthful. I'm just getting into crappie fishing. What's the go-to lure? I'm from Maryland. Very good question. So I've got several packs of them right here. This is my go-to lure, okay? So my go-to lure is a bonehead tackle. That is a stump bug, okay? That is a stump bug. That's black and chartreuse, or what they call nightstick. And then here's the one that I've been fortunate enough to win with the last couple tournaments. That's the purple and chartreuse. They call it grapevine. And then you've got one right here. This is moon dust. Okay, that's moon dust in a stump bug. Okay. Oh no, it's not. I'm sorry. That is moon glow. That's actually moon dust on top and a glow on the bottom. So it's actually called moon glow. It glows in the dark on the bottom. So pretty great baits, if you do ask me. There you go. That's what they look like. It's a dual tail with a beaver tail in the center. Okay. And you can do a lot of different things with these. You can leave the beaver tail in, pull the two long tails off, or you can pull the beaver tail out, leave the long tails. create, if you will, kind of a crappie magnet. If you pull that beaver tail out, but just a lot of cool stuff you can do with those baits, and the durability of those baits is why, quite honestly, why I continue to use them. They're just durable, and it means a lot to me, especially as a tournament angler. It means a lot to me to be able to bounce around and not have to worry about putting a new bait on all the time. I can bounce around, catch fish here, catch fish there, catch fish over here, catch fish over there, catch 10 over there, catch 15 over there, and I'm still throwing the same bait. And I mean, every once in a while I'll have to slide that bait back up on the jig, but just keep on going. Just keep on fishing. And that means a lot, because throughout the course of a day, if I don't have to put 20 baits on, I just saved 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes a minute to stop, get your bait, take one out, put it on the hook, get back to fishing. I mean, you've saved some time, and time is that many more fish that I can catch, So if it takes me 2 minutes to catch a fish, I just saved potentially enough time to catch 10 more fish. So for me, that's my bait of choice. I also like Bonehead's Slim Stick. They've got a Slim Stick. They've got a 2-inch Slim Stick, a 2.25-inch Slim Stick, and I love their Slim Stick. Actually used it in the Watts Bar tournament. I caught the fish that I weighed in on a purple and chartreuse stump bug, but I used a moon dust Slim Stick for most of the day in that tournament. That was just the bait that I found that I could get them to bite the day before, and I stuck with that the next morning, and it caught a lot of fish. I mean, I caught a lot of fish on the Slim Stick that day. So really good day of fishing, and caught them on a lot of different baits, and really just had a great tournament there. But those are my baits of choice for sure. Charles, so what is your trolling motor preference? Very good question. So again, I'll go back to my install side, okay? I've installed everything. I've installed I've installed Minn Kotas, I've installed Garmin's, and I've installed Lowrance's, okay? Ghosts, Force, and every Minn Kota there is. Ultrex, Fortrex, Alteras, Tarovas. I mean, I've installed them all. Okay. So the only thing that I have not installed yet is the PowerPole Move trolling motor, the new one that's out that is ridiculously expensive. Have you guys seen the cost of that trolling motor? It's like, I don't even remember. It was so high that I just blocked it out of my memory. It was so high. I'm like, how can you charge that for a trolling motor? Anyway, we'll move on past that. It's expensive. You guys should check it out, because you're all just gonna be like, what? For a trolling motor? And they're like, but we used the best products. And I'm like, okay, we used the highest quality parts. And I'm like, yeah, you did. Well, you definitely used the most expensive. You definitely used the most expensive part. Anyway, I'm gonna move on past that. I don't know if it's a good trolling motor or not. I hadn't seen them yet, but they are expensive. That's all. That's my first. Yeah, Charles, $5,000. $5,000. Yeah, ridiculously expensive. So anyway, moving on past that. My preference is an Ultrex. Okay, Charles. I do love an Ultrex trolling motor. For usability, for quality, for longevity, and just all around take a beating. I love an Ultrex. I really do. I've worked on Tarovas. I've fixed Tarovas. I've worked on Alteras and fixed Alteras. I have installed them all. And I'll be honest with you. I'll be 100% honest with you. If I had to say which one's easiest to install, it would not be an Ultrex. Okay. The easiest install is probably the Garmin Force. It is probably the easiest install that I've done, that I do. I mean, it is simple. And I've installed probably 50 of them now. So, or more, probably more than that. Nah, maybe not. 50, 75, something like that. I've installed a lot of Force trolling motors, but as far as install, they're the easiest by far. Ultrex is probably second, and then Lowrance is probably the next after that. But yeah, as far as user friendly trolling motors, I love the cable steered. I cannot get away from my cable steer Ultrex. I just can't. So it's the best of both worlds. I've got the electric, and I've got my remote control and my electric steer with my Ultrex, but also have the cable. It's the way I like to go. The responsiveness of the Ultrex is better than any other. The responsiveness of the Lowrance is close, but it's not quite as smooth as the Ultrex, excuse me. And there is that little bit of lag. I mean, just enough lag in that Garmin Force that I'd notice it in their foot pedal. Of course, it's a wireless foot pedal, so I would expect it to have a little lag, right? But good trolling motors all the way around. All of them are good trolling motors. But the Ultrex is where I call home, okay, for me. All right. Charles, thanks. Think I'm going Garmin. It's a good trolling motor. It really is. I mean, the Garmin Force is a good trolling motor. I don't have anything to say bad about it. I do like the remote. I like the remote on the Force. I like the remote on the Ultrex too, but the one on the Force is a little more streamlined, where this one's a little bit more bulky in your hand. That one's a little more slender, and it does fit in your hand a little bit better than the Ultrex remote. And I like to troll. I still troll a lot, so I still use my remote. I use my remote often, and I'll continue to use my remote because I'm going to continue to troll. Live scope ain't the only way you can catch them anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I actually will continue to troll and look forward to trolling. But yeah, I still use my remote quite a bit. Speaking of which, my little strap's messed up. All right, we've been on for about 47 minutes now, so we're probably going to call it. I'm going to hang me some mementos back here on the wall. I'm going to put my paint stick on there. I'm going to put my couple winning baits that we got, my purple and chartreuse stump bugs. As a matter of fact, the one that's hanging back there, oh, that's a black and chartreuse stump bug. Never mind. That's a black and chartreuse stump bug, which won, what tournament did that win? I don't know if that won one of the East Tennessee Crappie Club tournaments or if that won Chattanooga Crappie Club tournament. I think that one won Chattanooga. I don't remember which one it won. But anyway, that specific one, that's black and chartreuse. Black and chartreuse, purple and chartreuse, white and chartreuse, slick neon, and moon dust. Those are pretty much the only baits that I would take with me in East Tennessee to go to the lake and catch crappie. If you can't catch crappie on one of those baits, you ought to just go to the house. If Scott's still on here, my guess is he would probably tell you the same thing. He's probably got a array of baits that if they're not biting one of those baits, you better just go home. You know what I'm saying? And it's probably different for all you guys, depending on what area you are and what region you're in. It's probably different for everybody, but my guess is you guys probably have that selection of baits too. That if they're not hitting one of them, you better go home, or there's just not any crappie there. You know what I'm saying? So those are kind of my go-tos. I do have one other go-to. It is the grasshopper stump bug, which this is a specialty color right here, guys. You cannot buy this color anywhere else other than Crappie Cove in Maryville, Tennessee. That is the only person that sells this bonehead tackle jig. Okay, nobody else in the country sells it. That is a color. I would say that's my specialty color, which it kind of is because I called them when I first got on board with Bonehead, and I said I need a pumpkin and chartreuse, and they said, well, we had some, but we discontinued the color. And I said, well, I want every one of them you had or have. I want every single one. And there's right up here on the wall, there's a peg, 2 pegs. There's 2 pegs that are full of Bonehead tackle grasshopper stump bugs. Because I told them, I said, how many do you have left? They said, we have 37 packs left. I said, I want every pack. They said, really? I said, every one. Send them to me. Well, I got to using them so much on the channel. I had so many people that were asking about them. They're like, hey, we want some. How do we get them? So I started giving them away, and then I thought, wait a minute, I can't be giving these away to everybody because then I'm going to run out of them, and they don't make them anymore. So I called Bonehead and I said, look, why don't we do a special color? We'll put it in Crappie Cove right here in my hometown in Maryville. I got a bait shop, Crappie Cove, right here in Maryville, right by me. I said, I'll talk to them and see if they can do a special color, and just it'll be a specialty thing that only they have. And would you do it if they ordered 500 packs or 1,000 packs or whatever it was? And they're like, yeah, we'll make it again for that. I'm like, great. So I went over there, talked to them. They're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So we did it. Anyway, long story short, I'd like to say it's a specialty color for me, but it's really not. It's just a color that they discontinued, and then they got an order big enough from Crappie Cove to run them again. But I had a hand in it. Let's say that. But I love it. It's absolutely one of my absolute go-to colors, and you can get it only at Crappie Cove. So crappiecove.com, you can pick those up if you are interested in getting some of those. But yeah, that's it for me. That's kind of my wheel of colors, if you will. And that pretty much works anywhere in the eastern United States. Black and chartreuse is a staple. It'll work anywhere. Doesn't matter what color your water is. If it's crystal clear or if it's dirtier than all dirtiness, it doesn't matter. Dirtier than dirty. Black and chartreuse will work anywhere. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Curtis Hobbs in the house. What's going on, Mr. Curtis? I hadn't heard from you in a while. Guys, Mr. Curtis Hobbs, if you don't know who that is, right there. Mr. Light Wire Hooks is Mr. Curtis Hobbs. Thank you, Mr. Curtis, for watching. I appreciate you, buddy. Mr. Curtis Hobbs has made my hooks, guys, for years. Mr. Curtis is awesome. If you holler at Mr. Curtis, lightwirehooks.com, all his information's out there. He'll hook you up. Great hooks. Actually, I've got about 12 bags of them laying right over here that I need to get put in a box, which is right here, my phone's sitting on right now. So, I keep myself stocked up on hooks. Let me rephrase that. Mr. Curtis keeps me stocked up on hooks. As a matter of fact, you'll get a kick out of this, Mr. Curtis, and I'm not going to name any names, but I actually had another hook in my trolling box. So I have a trolling box that are all 16th ounce, because when I troll, 90% of the time I'm trolling 16th ounce jigs or jig heads. And I actually had another hook in there, another brand of hook in there that wasn't light wire hooks. And I was on a guide trip, and we literally lost like 5 fish almost in a row from the eye of the hook was not closed all the way, and the line kept slipping out. So we'd get a fish on, fish would come off, we'd reel in, and the loop knot is still intact, still there, ready to rock and roll, but the jig's gone, and the jig head's gone. I took every one of those jigs out of that box and threw them in the garbage at the boat ramp. I was like, I'm done with it. I took every one of them out of that box and threw them in the garbage. So, needless to say, Mr. Curtis, I'm going to holler at you because I need some 16th ounce jigs. I still have half a box full that are light wire, but I need to fill the rest of my box back up because I threw every single one of them away. I was just done with it. I was like, I'm done with it. I know where I can get better ones that actually have the eyes closed. So goodbye. Good riddance. Never again. See you later. So anyway, that was pretty comical. You should have been there. You would have got a kick out of it, to be honest with you. Charles, thanks for your show. Better than anything on TV. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. No, monkey milk. Danny, I did say monkey milk. Okay. So Bonehead calls monkey milk slick. Okay. So if you're looking for a monkey milk color, it's called slick in Bonehead. So let me step over here and without killing myself, and I'll actually grab. We're going to jump down out of the boat here. Hold on. Oh, yikes. That hurt. I'm going to blow a knee out one of these days jumping out of this boat. All right. So there it is right there. That is actually called slick. All right. So it's got that same monkey milk sheen to it. That is the actual stump bug that they have that is monkey milk. It's called slick. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, Tom A. Thanks, Curtis, for the recent order. They are great. Awesome, buddy. Hope you're enjoying them, Tom. My wife said, "Don't get hurt. I need you." That's funny. All right, guys. That's going to do it. As a matter of fact, where am I? Oh, man, I left them up there in the boat. Dadgummit. Ah, well, we'll throw them back up there. Well, let me see if I can reach up there. I'll let you guys hang them up with me. The mementos here. Oh, goodness. All right. Ah. All right, let's see. Where we're going to hang this stuff at. We'll just hang them right up here next to this other jig right here. And we'll hang that one right there. Yeah. We'll hang that one up here beside that one. Dadgummit. Come on now. I have to bend that hook out. We can't want to go in there. Go in there, you joker. Hang on. We have to bend that hook out a little bit because it ain't going to go in there like that. There we go. Wiki, 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 wiki. There we go. Now she went in there. And I just tore my thing. Good night, guys. I'm struggling. Help! All right, there we go. That's good enough. We got her in there. And get this one up on here. Double-sided tape. It's the best. We do everything with our teeth. Fishermen do everything with their teeth, right? We bite line and sometimes bite a jig, may kiss a crappie. Who knows? Just depends on how big it is. All right. Hang this right up here. We're going to go right underneath the last one. We'll come down a little bit, but we'll go right there. There we go. All right, guys. Got them added. We're going to start filling up the wall. Let's see. I've said goodbye 2 times. That's all right. All right. Hope you guys have a good week. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Have some new cool stuff to talk about next week. If you guys have any questions, any comments, bring them to the live next week. I'm perfectly fine answering anything that you guys have about baits, about line, about rods, about reels, about tackle, about, units, about try to stump me. How about that? You guys all bring questions next week. Let's try to stump Matt next week. How's that? Okay. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys have anything else or need anything else between now and next week, you can always hit me up on Facebook, Wired for Crappie, or you can always email me. Check out the website while you're not doing anything one night, wiredforcrappie.com. We got some really cool pictures of some really cool people, guide trip pictures. We got videos on there. We got merch on there. We got the planer boards on there. We got some really cool stuff going on at wiredforcrappie.com. So check that out. And I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, God bless, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.